Hey, hello, mate.
There we go. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, we're live. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah.
We're
Welcome back,
live.
guys. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Dan and Kev's Wrestling Talk Show. We are obviously back on Mr. Kilford's channel.
Yeah.
There's been a few technical issues on my side, so we're going to stream it on here. But please, guys, anyone watching this, please do follow us on our other YouTube channel. It's just Dan and Kev's Wrestling Talk Show. We will leave a link in the description, though. So, yeah, look at you there with your belt.
I know. I'll tell you what. This is. I mean, can you see how thick that is?
Yeah.
It's so heavy. It's really heavy. But yeah, I'm well. I've done a review. It'll be on my channel this week.
Yeah,
it's nice. Can't wait. Anyway, what did you think of wrestling this week?
A bit shit, wasn't it? Really?
It was. Yeah, it was. It was.
All of it.
Yeah. I think there were some good bits in each one. But I think ultimately it was a very drab week for wrestling. I mean, John Cena wasn't even on Raw or SmackDown, but that's obviously because he was doing the stuff for Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I don't think he was there for Raw, but he was there for SmackDown because he came out after the show.
Oh, he wasn't on the actual show then? He came out afterwards.
No, but that's the last two. No. That's this SmackDown and then SmackDown 2 weeks ago, and Raw last week was the same thing where he was there, he was at the shows, they just didn't bring him out until after the show had finished airing, and then they brought him out
for the live crowd sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that. Like, why would you not have John Cena on your show if he's there backstage? It doesn't make any sense. You see, people have been like slagging it off, saying, "Why are you having Cena tag with Riddle and have a wrestling match against blah 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 blah?" And it's like, because it doesn't make sense for like the story that they're trying to tell us with Cena and Roman. That's why he's having matches in front of a live crowd because he's not done it in so long.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a rehearsal for him. It's him, getting warmed up for SummerSlam, but
yeah.
At the same time, bring him out and let him cut a promo on your show. It just doesn't make sense to have him there and not use him, because it's going to boost your numbers up and your ratings up having Cena on your show. So
yeah, I'm surprised as well. Randy Orton hasn't. I mean, it was I think it was the 6th of June, the last time he appeared. We're now in the.
But he did get a 60-day ban, though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so, again, it is only rumours, so do take it with a pinch of salt, because we all know what rumours are like. The problem is, it's like, obviously, not to go on about it, because that's not what this channel's for, but obviously, me and you are football fans, and in football, when there's transfer rumours, you do kind of have to go, well, it's probably bullshit, because a lot of the time in football it is. In wrestling, I find it a little bit different, because there are certain accounts, so like Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful, or Dave Meltzer, or Inside the Ropes. There's loads of them. There's absolutely loads of them. There are ones that usually, when they say, I'm hearing rumours that blah, 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 9 times out of 10, that information usually is true. So it depends who you follow with wrestling, because there are a lot of people that do talk a lot of shit, and there are a lot of people that do just, report the rumours they're hearing. The rumours were he got a 60-day ban for breaking what do they call it? The health and wealth
welfare policy.
Yeah, the welfare. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but apparently that's what is broke.
Normally, like a drug thing. Normally.
Hey, let's get straight on to because it's going to take up a large chunk of the show. Let's get straight on to the releases, because it is the biggest talking point, and I'm sure both of us will have our opinion on it.
Yeah.
I'm still with you, and mate, we're good. I hope you're ready for the backlash, because when people see this, me and you are going to get some shit for our opinion. But at the end of the day, you know, we're entitled to our opinion and they're entitled to theirs. I'm with you. I still think Wyatt's a work. I don't care. Like, and I seen someone actually tweeted, like a WrestleMania actually tweeted saying that he thinks it makes more sense that it's a work for the same reasons that me and you do. And Sean Ross Sapp actually retweeted it and replied saying it isn't. It's true. Now, look, WWE don't get a lot right, okay? But every now and then they do get things right. If they've had a room of Windham Rotunda or Bray Wyatt, Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, Triple H, and Vince, if you've got those 5 people in a room and they've said, we're going to post that we've released you, so that when you come out at SummerSlam or whenever it is, probably SummerSlam, people are going to lose their minds. The internet is going to fucking explode. Twitter's going to go ape shit.
Yeah,
you know, and what better way to bring you back when no one expects you to be there? If you've had a room of 5 people and it's those 5, they ain't going to leak anything, are they?
No.
Things get out because too many people know. But inside WWE, the machine is that big that there's too many people that know. And at some point, someone's going to go home from work and tell the wife or the brother, hey, fucking Edge is coming back at Rumble. And then all of a sudden, it's all over Twitter. My brother-in-law's mate's dad's uncle's son's brother, well, he said, you know.
Yeah.
Then it spreads, and then it gets everywhere. But I'm with you. If it doesn't make sense because they are saying, and they're sticking with it as well, which I find even more confusing, that it's budget cuts. How do you sack your biggest earner and put it down as budget cuts? Now, people are going to come back with Cena and people like that. They're not. When Bray Wyatt is doing the Fiend character on TV, he brings in more merch money than any other superstar on that roster. Why would you sack a superstar like that for budget cuts? Don't make sense.
Well, saying that, last night, obviously, I look at WWE Shop all the time. Last night, they released some new designer fleeces, right? So, you know, the fleeces you can get. They've got like Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns. But there was one interesting one, and it was The Fiend. Now, why would you release a brand new product for a character that's not even going to be on TV?
Well, I mean, the rumours are that WWE own The Fiend, not Bray, so they legally would still be allowed to sell Fiend merch. But again though, you've got to think about you know, people that are just going, well, WWE own it. Like, but you got to think about it. If it's The Fiend and the Fiend mask, well, why would you release a merchandise for someone who the whole world knows isn't there anymore? Therefore, no one's going to buy it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a massive Fiend fan and he's just been released and you're heartbroken, you're not going to go, oh, I'm going to go and give WWE 50 quid for a Fiend bloody fleet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Look, the whole Bray thing is so fucking weird. It's so odd. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And people that are in the know that are saying, look, like, that's what we've been told, budget cuts. That makes me go, it's a fucking work. Like, that's what makes me even more sure. The fact that people like Sean Ross Sapp.
Well, the thing is as well, is that the people making those phone calls to tell the talent, they're being given like a list. So they get passed a list and then they ring up and say, oh, look, you're on this list. You know, it's due to budget cuts, I've been told. You've been released. I reckon that they don't know what's going on. Obviously, if that does work out like we're talking about, then Bray Wyatt knows and Stephanie and all that little group know, but no one else knows. So when they're giving this letter to fire him, he gets the message and goes, oh, I've been released. But he's not really. He can just go, oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, all right. Puts the phone down and he knows it's not, but the other guy at the other end doesn't. So, you know what I mean? Everyone. So if he speaks to someone outside, they're going to go, oh no, he's definitely released. I rang him.
Kev,
All the work.
You've seen things, you know, when it was Husky Harris. You've seen things like I have, where he's himself, where he's just been Windham, where he's, you know, out of the ring stuff, out of WWE stuff, where he has spoke only a few times, but it has happened. Does that guy strike you as the sort of guy who would get released and would say jack shit?
Yeah, exactly. He's not said much at all.
He's not said anything, because
no.
When you see, oh, Bray said this, you go to all of his social media or anywhere else or anything, any form of outlet where he could, nothing. There's nothing there. He's not said anything. He is not a guy who would get released and not go like.
Well, not only that. Every time that someone's released, the first thing they do is go on their social media and say, "Thank you so much," or "Thank you to fans," or "Thank you WWE." It's the first thing anyone ever does. Braun Strowman did it. Jack Atlas did it. Lots of those have just been released. Bronson Reed done it. The Fiend. I mean, Bray Wyatt. Nothing. Not a thing. Literally dead quiet.
But out of all the guys you just named, like, you know, I don't know them as well. Windham Rotunda would not keep his mouth shut for 2 weeks, or, you know, over a week. You know, it's been over a week now since he's been sacked. It's been like, what, 8 or 9 days? He would not keep his mouth shut for that long. He would come out and go, "The morons," like, you know, he would, you know. And look at Aleister Black. An hour after he got released, it was all over his Instagram stories and on Twitter. "I'm going to be live on Twitch in half an hour. Come and join me. I'm going to tell you everything." Like, you know, and Aleister Black said people get confused in, you know, "Oh, you can't talk about anything for however many days." And he's like, no, like, some people have that. I said, but a lot of us, it's just, well, it should be a 90-day no compete. Obviously, Aleister Black only had 30-day, but also I do want to mention, just before we get onto the main chunk of the releases, have you seen the story about Renee Young? Obviously, John Moxley or Dean Ambrose.
I saw something the other week saying that she was, when he's like, where does she want to work next and all that sort of stuff. Was that the one you're on about?
Well, no. So she's now finally confirmed. You tell me, right?
Yeah.
You told me that Kevin Owens has had jack shit because of the Chris Jericho thing, and then Jericho left and Vince blamed Owens, right?
Yeah.
You tell me that Renee has not been punished for Dean Ambrose leaving and going to AEW. She had it in her contract that this was the contract that she signed.
Yeah.
If we sack you, right? If we get rid of you, and it's our choice, you have a 30-day, like, you can't sign on to a rival for a rival wrestling company for 30 days. Yeah. If it's your choice to leave us, you can't sign for a rival wrestling promotion for a year. So because it was her idea to leave, because she went, "Oh, I had enough of this shit, I'm going."
Yeah.
Because she left, she couldn't
do anything for a year.
Get this, it was in a contract. You can't sign for anyone else and work for a year, but we're not paying you. So everyone else, so Buddy Murphy confirmed it, Aleister Black confirmed it, Braun Strowman confirmed it. You know, Aleister Black only had 30 days, I know, but like Buddy Murphy on the Fightful podcast on YouTube, it's out there. Go and check it out if anyone doesn't believe me. He said he got a phone call saying your 90-day non-compete, we will still pay you your full wages for those 90 days because you can't go and work anywhere else. They said to Renee, "Well, fuck off. We're not paying you, but you also can't go and work for a year." I mean,
you couldn't make it up, could you? Really?
Absolute bastards, and that is 100% because Vince was pissed at Ambrose leaving, because Vince did everything. I mean, he said Ambrose said on the Jericho podcast that he never fully looked at the figure properly because he'd already made his mind for leaving, but it was astronomical the amount of money that Vince offered him to stay, because Vince wanted to keep the Shield together because it was one of his biggest money makers. I mean, I
don't know what, something's going on. I mean, have you heard the latest? They're rebranding NXT now, which I personally think is quite a good thing. So obviously NXT originally was developmental, and it was designed to be sort of like an indie show, and it became mainstream, and now you've got your permanent NXT guys there, and they had a problem with people not coming up and then not being used properly and all that sort of bloody stuff. But with all the releases that have just happened in NXT, apparently that's all part of it. So they're going to sort of slim back, start on the young ones again, and make it more sort of go back to basics like it was before. I think it's a good thing. I think that's the charm of NXT. It was like it is now. It's a bit, but it wasn't as mainstream, if you know what I mean. Because originally it was only on the network, NXT. You could only watch it on the network. And then they obviously they changed it over to USA, which is good. But in doing so, it became the third brand. And you can tell that they're trying to push it back down, because they won't obviously acknowledge Charlotte Flair's title reigns or anything like that. So I don't know what's going. Also, as well, it's, you know, the two shockers for me from the recent releases were Bronson Reed, because they were really high on Bronson Reed to the point where he was having dark matches on Raw and SmackDown, and obviously Bobby Fish, who's
go on.
Yeah, who's in a riot. Well, he just started a storyline with Roderick Strong.
Yeah. See, I'm gutted for Fish because apparently I was reading. I see the thing actually where he was really upset. You know, he's like, I'm in my, you know, late 40s. I've got a wife, I've got children. What am I supposed to do? Like, you know, he was saying, at my age, you know, who's going to take me to wrestle? And I don't know how to do anything else. Like, it's really, really heartbreaking. I feel really sorry for him. From a cruel and brutal business standpoint, I don't blame them getting rid of Fish, because now the Undisputed Era is no more. Look, he's not a bad wrestler, don't get me wrong, but he's aged, he is slowed down, and he has had a hell of a lot of injuries, and he keeps getting injured as well. As a fan, I'm gutted for him, but from a business standpoint, I completely understand the Bobby Fish release. Mercedes Martinez, I was surprised, but again, her age, she's just had that concussion from that Xylee kick. Again, you know, they might be thinking, look how long Alexa Bliss was out with a concussion. You know, she missed nearly a year because of a bad concussion. They don't want to pay people, and we as fans like Mercedes Martinez, I always had the feeling that NXT signed her because she was a free agent and she was experienced, but never really used her, not properly.
No.
Jake Atlas is the one that I'm the most gutted about. Now, people are obviously saying that it's Bronson Reed. I'm not stupid. The guy's good. I was never that big on him. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of him, because I do think he was good, and it weren't like I didn't enjoy watching him do his thing, right? He's not for me. His style isn't what I look for and what I enjoy. You know, that's not to say that I didn't enjoy any of his matches, because I did. I just was never that big on him. And it sounds brutal. I'm not gonna miss him, and I know a lot of people will. I'm not. I'm. You know, It's the most shocking because he was backstage at SmackDown. There was clearly very high on him. You know, they gave him a title. NXT had built him really big. You know, and I think it was obvious to everyone that they were bringing him up to SmackDown. So I am really shocked. That definitely is the biggest shocker. But to be honest, out of all of the ones, the only wrestler that I'm absolutely gutted is Jake Atlas, because I'm not. But again, I'm not that surprised on the other side of it, because
they didn't use him. No.
Now again, Triple H gets a lot of things right in NXT. It's why me and you prefer NXT to Raw and SmackDown, because Triple H gets a lot right. I think Triple H has missed a massive opportunity there, because every time I seen Jake Atlas wrestle, I thought this kid's got something. He was highly talented. I'm really surprised that he didn't get used, to be honest.
I'm also quite surprised as well, because they've only literally, I think it was on Friday, they released his action figure. Yeah, and they've also got a Bronson Reed figure coming out as well in the next couple of months. So it's a bit weird. They've done that with Selena Vega though. They had a figure for her. She got released, and then like a month after she got released, they released her figure. So it's like, whoa! And that was her first figure as well.
Mate, it's honestly, it's absolutely. Yeah. But to be fair, I've got to mention it. That thing that you sent me, I mean, bits like how stupid WWE are. They release a statement saying we're focusing on designing a new NXT logo, a new lighting. Yeah. Don't. You're going to ruin what makes NXT special. Like, NXT is dark. Like, when you're watching the matches, the lighting is darker. I prefer that.
And they've only just...
It looks better.
They've only just redesigned the logo as well.
But I don't get it. Like, the NXT is fine. It looks great. Leave it alone. Don't touch the lighting. The fact that it is a little bit darker is great. I don't know. It makes it more enjoyable.
It's interesting as well, because before apparently WWE has been affected by the pandemic worse than it's being led on. So this is why a lot of the cuts are coming. But before the pandemic, I mean, they wanted to open NXT Japan, NXT Mexico, NXT India. And then they wanted to do this second show, didn't they? Which was to be like Evolve, but an NXT second show with that. But at the moment, no one knows what's going on, because it's all up in the air. And apparently, since the pandemic hit, it's really affected WWE. I don't know how, but it's proper. Really, apparently, it's proper affected them.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'll get onto that in a minute. That thing that you sent me, honestly, we're going to redesign the logo. Everyone's like, don't. We're gonna change the lighting. Fucking don't. We're going to do this when it's NXT. Don't. You're going to ruin it, bastards.
They said they were going to make it the roster smaller.
Yeah.
And concentrate on the younger talent. You got to think, like you're saying, Bobby Fish is 40 odd years old.
Yeah, but that's the line. We're gonna focus on our younger talent. You've just released 30 of the fuckers. Because the reason why a lot of the other guys aren't getting named, like Tyler Rusts and Zachariah Smith and Ali Sterling, people didn't really know them. No. But the large chunk of those people that got released were the young talent. So we've released all this young talent because we want to focus on developing young talent.
WWE.
Makes sense, WWE. Well done. Absolute bellends. That's all. Yeah. That's all I can say. You absolute morons.
Apparently, as well, the releases that came from NXT came from Nick Khan, and the financial officer. So they didn't even come to Vince McMahon, and apparently Vince McMahon had the power to stop it, to stop the releases, and Triple H, and both of them didn't stop him. So,
no, see, don't get me wrong, they are funny. They are funny, of course they are. All the memes going around Twitter of this is Triple H the next time he sees Vince McMahon, and it's an old Triple H wrestling move where he's bastard. Yeah. They're funny to watch. Guys, that's not how it's gone down. Like, you can't tell me that NXT didn't know, that Triple H didn't know that his stars was being released. Of course he did. Of course he knew.
Yeah.
Of course he knew. Like, he probably added a few names to it because he sees them every day. He's probably said, we've signed this. Again, I'm just throwing a name out there. Zachariah Smith. We signed him. He had potential. You know, he's been here for the last 6 months. I've seen him most days. He's not as good as what he's not developing as fast as we thought he would, you know.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of it. He will have been a part of some of those people, but mate, there will be people that are still there. Maybe like someone like a Caden Carter or a Casey Catanzaro who are still there because Triple H has gone, no.
Yeah.
No. Like, apparently, Vince has not been involved much at all with these releases. He's just signed off on it. What I don't get, right? People blame Vince for everything, okay? But since Vince has taken a step back and it's been public knowledge that he's taken a bit of a step back, it's gone to shit. So Vince used to
apparently.
So the releases, it's all Nick Khan. That's what I'm hearing, is that he's the guy that's going, you, fuck off.
It's him and I was told that what it looks like, it's him and the financial officer who are making the cuts, but at no point Vince McMahon or Triple H is stopping them where they could. Someone said that they could. Vince McMahon could step in and go, no, don't get rid of him. And Triple H is the same.
That's what Triple H did with Samoa Joe. That's what Triple H did with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was never officially gone. Like, the paperwork weren't even filed. He got a phone call while he was at the gym saying, if anyone doesn't listen to After the Bell with Corey Graves, check it out. And he said, you know, we got the phone call, and then an hour later, Triple H rang him, mate, you're not going nowhere. You're coming back to NXT. Like, there's Nick Khan. Again, this comes back to our first point, the very first thing that we spoke about. Nick Khan, as a financial officer, his job is to say, this is literally what my brother does. My eldest brother, Rob, if you're watching, Rob, Rob literally does this for a living. So he works for, I can't name names, but he works for a pretty big company in Manchester. He's on a lot of money, Rob, the little bastard, and doesn't give me any. Little shit. He works for a big company in Manchester, and he's on an absolute wedge because his job is to turn around to this massive company and say, this is where you're investing wrong, and this is where your money should be. So his job is to say, you're hemorrhaging money there, and you're not getting enough back out of it. So pull the money off there, forget about that, sack them, focus here. That's his job, is to better spend money and where to save money. That's his job.
Yeah.
This is Nick Khan's job. And I can't help but laugh every time someone refers to Nick Khan as Tony Khan. It's like, that Tony Khan at WWE, he's a right prick. He's like, But yeah, like, Nick Khan's job is to say, again, I'm not saying that this is what happened. I don't know. I don't work for WWE. I'm a fucking nobody. I'm a nobody that lives in Hadfield that just loves wrestling and kind of has a few people that kind of do know the stuff. And I do have a couple of people that I do speak to that I do live in America that do have contacts. There's the guy that's just a stage guy. He's just a runner. You know, he's just, go and grab that, go and screw that in, you know, go and help him build the ring, put the mat down, build the turnbuckle, you know. So, and again, people like that, they do become friendly with the talent. They do become friendly with all sorts of people, and they do learn stuff. So I don't know. I'm just throwing names out there, but it could be somebody like an Ali Sterling or a Zachariah Smith, or, you know, someone like that. Someone who wasn't, you know, Ali Sterling we'd seen twice. Zachariah Smith, I don't know, we'd seen him once. There was 4, 5, 6 other guys that we'd not really seen. People like that. Leon Ruff would seen quite a lot, but he would probably fit that bill as well. Is Nick Khan is going to go Ali Sterling, Zachariah Smith, Leon Ruff, him, her. They're on a wage, and I'm looking at how much money we get. How much social media interaction do we get off Zachariah Smith? Nothing. How much merchandise do we sell? Nothing, because there's nothing out there for him. What do we get out of him? Nothing. But we paid him this. He's gone.
Gone. Yeah.
That's what Nick Khan's doing. So let me ask you this, Mr. Kilford.
Yeah.
Has Nick Khan gone, right, Alex Sterling, he doesn't offer us what we're paying him, he's gone. Zachariah Smith, he doesn't give us anything, yet we're paying him X amount of money, he's gone. Bray Wyatt, fucking useless, doesn't bring us any money, fuck him off. Is that what he's done? Because I don't think that's how that's gone down.
No, I don't think that's how it gone down either.
You know what I mean? Like,
I reckon as well,
Bray Wyatt.
Well, big people like that, especially the same with Braun Strowman. He's quite pally with Vince McMahon. So I reckon Vince McMahon would have known about that. And, I totally believe everything you've said. You've got a financial guy in, and like, how much he sold, how much is this? I mean, Ali pretty much confirmed that anyway, because I remember when he came back and he said, "Oh, this is my new T-shirt." He said, "Can you please all buy it so I don't spend another 6 months at home?" And it sort of it plays like that, The problem is, it's a bit like with football. Is you spend all this money, you want an investment back, don't you? Otherwise, you get rid, because they're not making you any money. And it's the same with WWE. You've got to look at these things and you go, okay, it boggles our minds, because we're sort of like, Aleister Black was getting over. Why wasn't he? But you don't know backstage whether the social media numbers were there, whether people were watching his matches on YouTube or skipping them, whether people were turning off when his matches were on, and how much merchandise did he sell. It all comes into those figures, and it could have been crap. So they've just gone, we're making nothing from him. Why are we pushing him? Why are we spending all this money when no one really wants to watch him?
I mean, I agree with that point. I personally, my opinion is I don't think that's what's happened with Aleister Black, and I don't think that's what you're saying either. I don't think you're saying that's what happened with Aleister Black. You're using that as an example. Yeah. So anyone that's all they go, "What do you mean Aleister Black didn't have a social media following? I loved him, mate." Like, that's not what he's saying. Fucking calm down. Fucking sick of it, mate. Honestly, I can't say anything without
that, right? You think using Aleister Black as the template sort of thing, and then what they're doing is they're going, okay, so he's got these figures, but then they're saying, but Rey Mysterio has got more followers. People are watching his matches more. People are buying more of his merchandise. So they sort of tally up the two of them and they go, well, he's more popular. This guy's not making us any money. He's not popular. Bye. And we're paying him more money. You've got to think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the guy that fits perfectly what you're saying. And now, I loved him, but I think what you've just explained, the person that fits that the best is Murphy. I think Buddy Murphy was that guy. He people enjoyed watching him wrestle. I enjoyed watching him wrestle. Kev, and answer this honestly. Don't be afraid. Did you enjoy watching Murphy wrestle? Just wrestle.
There was nothing special about it. It's a bit like Ricochet. He's got something. He's got something, but there's something missing.
But just as a wrestler and what he was capable of doing in the ring, did you enjoy watching him wrestle?
He was a good wrestler.
Right. But did you care about him?
No. It's like Ricochet. It's the Ricochet effect. I'm going to use that. I think we should use that more often. Ricochet effect. Brilliant in the ring. Does all this bouncing off, right? Does all this stuff. But do you care about him? Do you worry about his personality? Do you care about a story? No, you don't. He's just there. He's great in the ring. He's a good wrestler, but that's it. He's not that good on the mic. They don't put him in storylines. He's got no merchandise. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I completely agree. Now, I mean, the Aleister Black thing, now hear me out.
Yeah.
Look, it didn't even end up happening. That's the thing that really fucks me off more than anything. It didn't even end up happening. Vince said anyone who is on any form of, who's earning money outside of WWE on social media platforms, whether it be YouTube, whether it be, Twitch. Hey, Mick's in the chat. Hey up, Mick. How you doing, mucker? So, yeah, like, whether it be Twitch, whether it be YouTube, Vince said originally, you're not allowed to do that. You're banned. Now, that obviously didn't happen because Xavier Woods never stopped streaming. Adam Cole never stopped streaming. AJ Styles never stopped streaming. Now, AJ Styles, Adam Cole, you can argue, well, yeah, but that's the name of him. Mate, Xavier Woods, I know he's a part of the New Day, but at the end of the day, I don't think Vince cares that much about Xavier Woods, which is why he's been the kind of the third wheel of New Day that's never really done anything on his own.
Yeah, I mean he was in for quite a long time as well. You got to think.
Yeah. But the fact that they never stopped streaming means that it never happened. So
yeah,
it was definitely true that Vince did say that, but straight away Zelina Vega was the first one to go, hang on a minute, because you're a bunch of cheap bastards, I earn more money off Twitch than what I do wrestling. So I'm not going to stop doing the thing that earns me more money. So she left, she was like, well, I'm not going to stop streaming. So sack me. So Vince sacked her.
Yeah, the thing was with Zelina Vega, she was like, I think she said that they gave them a list of social media they couldn't go on. But only fans, or I think that's what it's called, only fans, wasn't on the list. So that's when she opened an account with them. And then that's what pushed them over the edge, because they were like, hang on a minute, you're going to be making money off this. We've told you. And she had a bit of a barmy, I think, with them. And then they obviously sacked her for that, because she got rid of all of her accounts. And then she opened up a fan-only account. And she said she only done that because, one, she was making a lot of money, and two, it was not on the list that was given to her by WWE to not stream on. So they were all given lists of social media they weren't allowed to stream or make money from. And fan-only wasn't there. So that's why she opened it up. But then, obviously, push comes to shove, and obviously she got fired. But
I mean, but obviously it didn't end up happening anyway. But the fact is, Zelina then got sacked, right? What happened to Aleister Black? He disappeared for 7 months. No one's seen him for 7 months, and then he came back and started doing the Dark Father character. Then they went, look, we want to release more talent, and it just became easy because he'd done 4 or 5 promos backstage, and then he had come in and had hit Big E with the Black Mass, and that was the last time that we seen him, was when he kicked Big E in the head, and then a week later he got released. But Nick Khan is going, well, like, again, if he's just comparing it to numbers. I've heard off off 2 or 3 people that are usually quite reliable. Nick Khan isn't even a wrestling fan. That's not. He's a financial advisor. He's not a wrestling fan. He doesn't give a shit.
He's like his dad, isn't he?
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know. Nick Khan doesn't even know who these wrestlers are. Doesn't know them. All he's looking at is, right, this person, this employee, because to him that's what he is. Aleister Black is an employee over the last 6 months. Barely any social media activity. Not been bringing money in. Not been doing this. Not been doing that. He's not fucking been there. That's why. That's because Vince spat his dummy out because the Zelina Vega thing pissed him off. So he sacked Zelina Vega and then went, well, she's not there anymore. So instead, I'm going to punish her husband. So he weren't there. He weren't used on TV for like 7 months. So Nick Khan, that's what I think's happened. He's gone, Aleister Black, right, hang on a minute. Well, there's barely been any activity. And he's on, a good amount of money. Get rid of him. I think that's probably how that has happened.
The problem they have in WWE is that they tend to employ a lot of people that don't know the business.
100%, yeah.
And they come in, and I think that's the difference between WWE and AEW at the moment. Is you got Tony Khan there, and Cody Rhodes, who Tony Khan is like the biggest nerd going in wrestling, Star Trek, and all that sort of stuff he loves. And you've got Cody, who was brought up through the business, and they know how to run it. The problem is Vince has got a lot of yes men and a lot of people that don't know the business.
That and that was my point earlier. Just one sec. So our mate Mick has put, all right, guys, how you been? It's been a crazy month in wrestling. More like a crazy year than a month, mate. You're telling us. Us it's been a crazy year. It's been absolutely nuts, mate. But yeah, so this is what I was trying to say earlier. My point is, people blame Vince for everything, right? WWE has gone to shit since he started, because of his age, has started giving more people more responsibility. The creative drive now, if you have a serious problem with a promo or a match or a spot or whatever it is, with what the creative team give you, you have to take it to Vince. And apparently, over the last few years, Vince has got to the point where he can't be asked. So he just says, look, do your fucking job. Unless you're Randy Orton or you're Drew McIntyre or you're AJ Styles, if you're a massive, massive name, Seth Rollins, someone like that, then you can go to Vince and go, Vince, look, mate, come on, this is bullshit. Vince might then actually look at it because he knows that, he's become friendly with them. He's known them years. He relies on them because of the star power that they are. But if you're an Ali or if you're a Kevin Owens, who we all love, but I don't think Vince is that hot on. If Kevin Owens goes to him and goes, it's fucking. The creative are telling me to say this, and it probably don't even make sense. This is bullshit. Come on, let me change it. Vince is going to go, look, do your job, say it. If that's what that apparently for the last 3 years, that's the direction that Vince has gone in. Well, you full responsibility for the creative team. Now, a lot of these people, a lot of the writers, the problem is a lot of the writers that he employed were writers. That's what they did for a living, but they weren't. They weren't wrestlers. They weren't.
No, not fans. No.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that lady that came out and said she was the writer, and she goes, "Oh, there's this. He's the champion, the black guy. I don't know his name." She goes, and there was like a group of them. I don't know their names. What was it? The Business or the Hurt or something like that. She didn't even know she's writing the show. And you're like, you don't even know. And she even admitted she wasn't a wrestling fan. She doesn't even know who she's writing for. And it's like, she obviously got fired after that. Rightly so, because you can't have people like that. You know what I mean? I don't understand.
Yeah, but Kev, if they've got 50 fucking people on that writing team, how many of them care about wrestling? How many understand wrestling?
Not a lot.
That's the problem. People blame Vince for everything. Now, it is Vince's fault. At the end of the day, Vince has done this, but you can't blame him for his age. He's gone, right, look, the business has grown that big. There's that much shit that needs doing. He can't do it on his own anymore, and his age on top of it. He's gone, Nick Khan, do me a favor, mate. Come in. I want you to be in control of where can we save money, where are we losing money. But we need to release some talent. You tell me who aren't making us enough money in comparison to the amount of money we're giving them, and we'll get rid of them. And you give me the piece of paper and I'll sign it. I'm not asked. And in terms of the creative drive and the storytelling, it's gone so bad because, in my opinion, 9 stars out of 10, 9 wrestlers out of 10, if you go to Vince and say, this is bullshit, this promo doesn't make sense, it's stupid, I don't want to say it, Vince is going to go, I've put this creative team in place for a reason. If this is what they're telling you to do, go and do your fucking job and stop coming to me moaning. I've got enough on my plate. I'm not interested. So Vince has given the creative team full control. And that's why it's so bad.
What Tyler Breeze said as well in an interview recently.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, no, he done an interview. I think it was with the Dirt Sheet, I think. Right, okay. I'll see if I can pull it up. But he said some really interesting things because he said that he goes, he hates when all these people leave WWE and immediately go, oh, it was crap. And he was like, but you're taking their money and you didn't have a problem then. And he said, not only that, he goes, I never had a problem there. He goes, if they told me to do something, I did it. That's my job. That is what I'm paid to do. He said, they told me to go out there and dress up like a cop, like they did, or dress up like, I don't know, he said like a fairy or anything like that, or in a dress. He goes, I would do it because that is my job. That is what I'm paid to do. If they told me to do something, I'd do it. He goes, I never questioned it because obviously that's what I'm paid to do. And he said he hates it when people leave and then go, oh, they were really crap there. They were really this. And he's like, well, you're quite happy taking their money. He goes, and also he said, if you don't like somewhere where you're working, you leave, don't you? You just leave.
I liked his comments. Yeah.
And I just thought he's hit the nail on the head there. A lot of them leave and go, oh, WWE shit. Yeah, obviously they're bitter. They're bitter. Yeah. They had their dream job and now they haven't. But you get a lot of them that are released. Jake Atlas, another one. He's gone, look, thanks, guys. Brilliant. Bronson Reed as well. He put, thanks, guys. The beast has now been unleashed. This ain't over.
Yeah.
He's thanked everyone. He's moved away humbly. But then you do get a lot of them that go, oh, WWE, well, crap. They did this, that, and the other. Why didn't you say anything then? Why were you still there? Why did you then sign another contract?
Look,
if it was that bad.
Exactly. Now, I loved Xavier Woods. I loved Tyler Breeze's comments because it was so different to what you always see. You know, he was saying, you know, sick and tired of people saying, you know, they asked me to do this, they asked me to do that. Yeah, it's your fucking job. Now, more people need to do what Breeze did, and you know, say, look, at the end of the day, Vince is our boss. You know, if him or a member of his team if our boss tells us to do something, we do it. You know, and I like that, but I have got to put the other side of the argument over.
Yeah,
there is a chance that Tyler Breeze is trying to kiss a bit of ass to get his job back. There is that chance that he's going, if I speak really highly of WWE and if I put my comments out there that I'm on their side, I might get rehired by him. You know,
we talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well. Right now, Jericho said, "Oh, it's clear AEW is the better company, and WWE was shit. I'll never work for them again." Look, if WWE came calling and he wasn't at AEW and they said, "Look, Jericho, there's $2 million, come and wrestle for WWE," you fucking take it.
Of course he would.
You take it.
Of course he would.
You know what I mean? It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
so all this stuff where they go, "Oh, WWE is crap." Look, mate, if they came calling, you would pick the phone up. Let's not beat around the bush, you know. But it is what it is, isn't it? So
yeah, of course. Look, it's right I need my PC desk like a moron.
All right.
It's a funny old thing. I mean, the point I want to make is what Vince has done wrong is employ the wrong people to then be in control of basically the show. Do you know? He's either give it to people who are running out of ideas. Now, look, I like Bruce Pritchard, right? I'm not saying that I don't. I've seen a lot of it. I actually quite like him, but has he still got it? You know, he was good back in the 90s. He came up with a lot of good ideas in the 90s. He's a lot older now, you know, and I don't care what anyone says. As you get older, you do care less about things that you were passionate about when you was younger.
Yeah, of course. I'm old enough to know that now because you know, when I was younger, I never cared about things like politics and all that sort of shit. And I do now because I'm older. But I do, yeah, you're right. You know, there's a lot of this young music out there I don't like. But you know, as I get on older, I think that's it. As you get older, you get more bitter and more like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Look, then like you're a big wrestling fan now, yeah. But answer this as honestly as you can, because given the fact that we literally run a wrestling podcast, but still try and be honest.
Yeah.
Do you honestly care as much now as what you did 20 years ago?
No. The product has changed as well so much.
Yeah. Like take out the fact that 20 years ago it was the Attitude Era and it was fucking awesome, and now it's nowhere near as good.
If WCW was still about, and you know, Stone Cold went to WCW or The Rock, you know what I mean? It'd be like mind blowing. But now, if Roman Reigns turned up in AEW, you'd be like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like if you go back to your teens or even early 20s, if the Attitude Era was happening now at the age you're at now, you wouldn't care as much now as what you did back then because you was younger. You cared more about. Mate, I was obsessed with football, but Man United in particular. For years, but.
I was as well. When I was 18, I was a season ticket holder at Arsenal for 3 years, and I went to near enough every game.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I've less and less. You know, I watch the games, but I don't watch like I used to watch the football, and then I used to watch. The shows after the football, you know, then the replay shows, and then I used to watch like, you know, Soccer Saturday and Soccer AM and all that sort of stuff. I used to watch Soccer AM, then watch the match, then watched the evening show with them all talking about it, and now I just watch the match.
The match of the day.
Yeah, I used to do all of that. Like Saturday it was just football. It was football pub, and that was it. It was football pub, and that was it every Saturday. It was like drummed into me. It's all I ever did. And then obviously, but now I watch a game. I watch a game. That's it. I don't watch anything else. So,
but I'm like, I'm old. Is it Sophie that's your oldest?
Yeah, no, Holly's my oldest. Sophie's the younger.
Right. So Holly's like what, 10, 11, around there?
No, Holly's 15.
Jesus, I didn't realise.
Yeah.
15. What? Kev, you're old, mate. You're officially old. You've got a 15-year-old. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not that old, mate. Jesus, I'm what? I'm a 38. Old. I'm only 38, so.
I'm winding you up, mate. Yeah. So, but my question is, like, I'm like, well, if you're 38, I'm 9 years younger than you, right?
Yeah.
So there's nearly a decade in, because I've only just turned 29 last Sunday, so there's nearly a decade in, between us. But so I'm a decade behind you, because obviously my daughter has only just turned 2. But would you agree with me? Because I've noticed that with football, same as you, honestly, what you were just saying, that was me. Like, I would watch Soccer AM Saturday morning, I'd then watch the match, then I'd watch the build-up before the match, the hour build-up before the match, then the match, then them talk about it after the match, then I'd watch it on Match of the Day, then on Sunday morning, when MUTV were allowed to show the match, I would watch it again because I'd want to hear the MUTV commentators go apeshit when the goal went in, because they're United fans like you, so they'd react more. They because they're United fans commentating on it. Yeah. So that was my routine for probably 10 years.
Yeah, now, I tell you what, I used to wake up. I used to watch Soccer AM. Straight after Soccer AM, I used to go down the betting shop, put a bet in, then watch the build up of the match, then watch the match all at the pub, then watch the bit after it at the pub, then go home, get changed. While I'm getting changed, watch Match of the Day, and then go out clubbing. That was my Saturday, and I used to do that. If I weren't at a match down at Highbury, that was my Saturday, every Saturday, like clockwork. But now, like I said, I don't do any of that anymore.
No, yeah, but my question to you is, I can pinpoint when it changed for me. I started to care less about football, and I probably started to kind of like, just because of my age, I'd started to enjoy wrestling, but care less about it. It wouldn't, like, the only things now that really get me, where I think about it for like days afterwards, is like Edge returning at the Rumble after 9 years out. Like, things like that get me now, but things that would like when I was like 10, I was like, can't believe that Kane lost. I've been thinking about it for 3 days. Can't believe the bastards made Kane lose. Like that, like, I don't care like that anymore. And I can pinpoint it. Things started to change for me 3 years ago when I got engaged, and 2 years ago when my daughter was born. Things started to mean more.
Same with me. So obviously my wife got pregnant. We weren't married at the time. My girlfriend, now my wife, got pregnant, and it was that sort of point where I went, I suppose I've got to sort of slow down a little bit. I still went out after Holly was born, but it became less of a thing, if you know what I mean. It became less, everything else became less of a thing. But for wrestling, it's really weird. So I remember from 98, because I watched in the 90s, but from 1998 until 2003, I watched every Raw and SmackDown religiously. I was right there, always watching it, everything, all the pay-per-view, everything. Sunday Night Heat when it was on Channel 4. I watched it all. And then how old was I now? About 18, about 17 I was, around like 2002, 2003. And then I started noticing girls. And it became less of a thing for me. You know, I still watched it, but not like I used to. So
now you was watching the wrestling for the girls. Oh, fresh!
already. But I mean, but it became less of a thing. So I started watching it less and spending more time out. And it was, I mean, from 2004 to 2006, I couldn't tell you who had the belt. I couldn't tell you what. I know some of the matches, but my mind is like blink, it's gone. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I did around about that same time when you do start discovering that there's other things out there apart from wrestling. When you do get 17, 18, yeah. I did dip out, and to be honest, it was, I'd say, 4 or 5 years ago that I'll tell you when it was. It was when Balor. It was about 5 or 6 months before Balor first got brought up in the draft to Raw.
Yeah.
That's when I started watching it every week again. But there was probably a 5, 6, 7 year period where I didn't watch much at all. I mean, it wouldn't be unusual for me to go a couple of months without watching anything, without seeing anything. And then I would watch a random episode here and there.
Yeah, I was the same. So random episodes all the time. And then, like, if it was on, if I was flicking through a telly, it was on, I'd watch it.
Yeah,
and it's really strange. So it was 2014 actually. I just remember watching Raw, then I watched the SmackDown, and it was really strange because then after that I started watching every week, just randomly turned it over watching it, and then I started watching every week.
Do you think that's because around about 2014, 2015, Holly was getting to that age where she would start to enjoy it with you?
Yeah, and then my youngest was still little, and then she's gotten up, and they all love. I mean, now it's a family thing, so we all sit here on a Tuesday morning watching Raw, and then on a Saturday morning watching SmackDown, and then either on a Wednesday or a Thursday we watch NXT. All as a family, we all sit there watching it.
What do you do when what do you do when the girls are in school?
They're homeschooled.
Oh, right, okay.
We've homeschooled the girls for about 5 years now, probably even longer than that. And so they can watch we watch it and then that stuff like that.
And but you're homeschooling them right, Kev. You're homeschooling them right. Tuesday morning, Raw. And
that's it, mate.
And your homework for this week, I want you to go on the network, and I want you to go back to SummerSlam 1998, and I want you to.
Yeah, my daughter watches some bits on the network, but yeah, we watch a lot of the wrestling on, like, as a family, all sitting on the sofa watching it. We're doing. I'm not too sure yet on SummerSlam. I don't know whether to watch it live, because normally what we do, like on WrestleMania and things like that, we watch them live, and then I'll get a load of pizzas in. They sleep during the day, and then I'll wake them up, and then we have like pizza and all of that.
Oh, cheers, Kev. Thanks for me invite to yours for SummerSlam. Pizza and
but yeah,
on there.
I'll tell you it was we like the Saudis. Now I hate the Saudi Arabia thing, but the good thing about it is that it's on at like 7 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
And you can watch it, and you can have a takeaway, and they can have a proper night and stuff like that. But that's what we normally go on the bigger events.
We're kind of in a position. I would love to watch it live, but we're in a position where one of us has to get up with Emmy the morning after. Now, what I might do is if Nat's mum and dad are having Emmy that weekend, I'll probably just ask them to have a Saturday night so we can watch it live. If they're not, we'll probably just watch it Sunday morning. I just want to say, I've already told you this. You already know the story, but it's you were just saying there about, like, your kids liking it now and stuff like that. Like, what got me into it when I had to watch it every week was when Nat got interested in it, because me and Nat got together 3.5 years ago, but Nat was 27 when we got together, and she'd never watched it. So she got to 27 years old and she'd never watched it. She was never interested in it. And because I watched it, the first 2 months of our relationship, because I was watching it, she'd sit there on the phone you know. And then every now and then she'd look up and, you know, she didn't know anyone. And I remember, I'll never forget this. She was flicking through her phone. She started flicking through like she did everyone. And, you know, he's watching this shit. I'm gonna flick through Facebook.
Yeah.
And then she heard gong, and she literally dropped the phone.
Yeah,
because it was someone that she knew. Because she'd watched bits with her brothers. Like she'd never watched it, but she'd watched bits with her brothers when she was younger. And Undertaker was one that she remembered. And she heard that gong. She dropped her phone. Her jaw dropped. And as he did his entry, he was halfway down the ramp doing his slow ass entrance. And I'm like, it weren't announced. I didn't know we were there, so I was like, oh my God, Taker's there. And she went, I've got goosebumps. And from that moment, literally from that moment, she went, right, that's it. I'm watching it now.
Yeah.
And no word of a lie, from that moment, she hasn't missed an episode. Like it's her choice now. So like on a it's like for example on when it was Money in the Bank, that was my morning with Emily on the Monday morning. So I got up, I made Emily's porridge, made myself a brew. As I'm making myself a brew, I'd literally been up with Emily 10 minutes. Nat comes in. I'm like, it's my morning. You didn't need to go up. She was like, Money in the Bank. Like she got up because she couldn't wait. She's now as big of a fan as we are, and that is all down to the Undertaker.
Yeah, I mean, my wife watched it as well in the 80s. She remembers people like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Jake the Snake and all those sort of people. But it was only when she got with me that she started watching it again like we did. I mean, I tell you this, right? This is a story. So do you remember when ECW was about, when it was WWE? There was a pay-per-view on the 4th of December called December to Dismember. Yeah, well, my wife was in labour when we were watching that pay-per-view. And I couldn't drive her to the hospital, so we had to wait for my mum to come over. This was like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And my wife's in labour, right? We've rung the hospital. She's like, yeah, she's in labour. And we're both sitting there watching December to Dismember while she's in labour with Holly. And so that's a little story there. Yeah, so that's how much we liked it. My wife was in labour watching it while she was having Holly.
Kev.
It's one of those pay-per-views when my wife always goes, oh, that's the pay-per-view where I was having contractions at home. Well, we were sat on the sofa waiting for your mum to come and pick us to the hospital, and we're watching December to Dismember. Which actually is really ironic because that pay-per-view it went down as the worst pay-per-view in WWE history. I don't know why. I had an Elimination Chamber on it, but yeah, it was dubbed as one of the worst. Well,
I can just see it now. After your mum had took you and Kirsty to the hospital, it's getting to the, you know, she's 8 centimeters dilated. It's getting there, right? The midwife's in there, your mum's in there, and Kirsty goes, ah! Middle goes, oh, was that a bad contraction? Plus she goes, no, fucking Shawn Michaels just lost. Okay, now.
Yeah, no, it was just on, and it was like the last. We turned on telly off. I was last out of the house, and I remember watching it, and it was just as Bobby Lashley was coming out to the Elimination Chamber, and I remember that. I don't remember the ending because obviously we went off to the hospital and that. But yeah, she was in labour while we were watching December to Dismember.
One of the last points, because I do actually want to read it out. Mick has put, I like wrestling more now, but look at between 1998 and 2008, there was a lot of names that was pushed, and if four wrestlers got injured, they had backup. Whereas now, if 4 people got injured, it would hurt WWE more, as many aren't being pushed as much as they were back then. It's a really good point. The only thing that I would say about that is that's WWE's fault, because it's not like they've not got talent there to push. They just choose not to.
The thing is, as well, is around, I think it was around 2012, 2013, wrestling was like, there was a lull. I mean, there wasn't a lot about. There was TNA, there was ROH and all those sort of stuff, but in terms of like indie stuff and all that sort of stuff, it sort of dipped. Around 2016, it went up, and now we're at a peak of this. So we're right at the top where, every town's got an indie show in England. The indie scene is huge, and wrestling is more popular now than I think it's been in 30 years. And I think that's the problem as well. Like I said to you, there's too much on TV to watch it all. I mean, WWE have got 6 programs out a week, and then you've got AEW, which soon will have 4 out. Then you've got Impact, ROH, New Japan Wrestling. It's just too much at the moment. It's overload in terms of how much it's about. So,
I mean, I've got 2 points to finish off with, and one is based off Mick's comment. So the first one that I do want to say is, how can people say that all of these 90% of the people that they've released, the people that weren't being used, so it doesn't matter? Like, you're a moron. If that's what you think, you're a moron, because it's those same idiots that are then going, raw shit, it's just rematch after rematch. Well, it wouldn't be rematch after rematch if they used some of the talent that weren't being used that they've now released. So most people's main problem with WWE is it's just rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch on Raw, on SmackDown. I love NXT, but it even happens on NXT where it's like, just seeing this match last week.
There isn't enough people
that good last week.
I mean, there ain't enough. I mean, you must have seen the picture that I posted of the roster for 205 Live. There's I think there's 5 people, and 3 of them are on NXT.
Yeah, well, I mean, one was Santos Escobar. Now, he's mainly NXT. You won't really,
Brian Kensington, is it? Brian Kendrick. Brian Kendrick. The guy.
Also, one of the 5 was Nigel McGuinness, who's a commentator.
Yeah, and the guy who wears the shirt in the ring, I've forgotten his name. He's part of the breakout, isn't he?
Ike Manjaro,
that's it. Yeah, he was one of them as well. And it's like they've got no one. They literally culled everyone. But it's not. This is right. We've seen all these releases. It's not the first time WWE has done this. WWE's done a big cull like this before, so it's not new, and it doesn't. Nothing surprises me anymore. With WWE.
No.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if they have, let's just put the argument out there, if they have got rid of Bray, then you can add that to Braun and Aleister Black. And there are people that they have got rid of that you go, what? Why? Mind-blowing that, I mean, what? Let's just say, for example, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that they are gone, which is what obviously everyone's saying. I still think Bray's will work, and I know a lot of people that do, and I know a lot of people that go, no, he's gone. But let's just say Bray turns up with Braun on AEW. Why are you giving? Now Vince can come out with all the shit he wants, and I actually believe him. I don't think he does see AEW as competition. I'm not a massive AEW fan. I prefer WWE. I enjoy watching AEW. I enjoy both, but AEW is competition. Why would you give your competition stars like Aleister Black, Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman? Because that is only going to make them stronger. And I know this is taking me. I actually stopped watching AEW because I couldn't be arsed with
tag team after tag
team. Yeah, faction tag team match, faction match, tag team match, 6-man tag, 8-man tag.
I sent you that thing that Eric Bischoff said, didn't I? And I said nailed it. He's nailed it on the head. So Eric Bischoff did a shot of a shoot interview and talked about AEW, and he said, which I think perfectly nailed it on the head, is it's fine to sign people from WWE because they bring in the star power. The problem is it will affect your homegrown talent. And he said it's all right bringing them in, but you've only got say, how long is Rampage on for? Is it an hour? I thought it was an hour show, but I think it's 2 hours show, Rampage, when it starts. But anyway, you've got like a 2 hour show, and you've got a jam packed roster. He said, what's going to happen is what happened to WCW is you're going to have the younger guys, the guys that are thirsty, the guys that want stuff, pushed out of the way because they'll need it for the other guys coming up.
Yeah, but look, I had stopped watching AEW. I agree with what you've just said, by the way, but I stopped watching AEW. Do you know why I started watching it again?
Aleister Black.
Because you messaged me saying that Aleister Black had just turned up on AEW.
Yeah.
Well, I'll check that out. Like, and how many people, if Bray Wyatt turns up on AEW, are going to go, well, I'm watching AEW. Like, that's what I don't get about what WWE are doing, because they're releasing people that have monstrous fan bases in Braun Strowman, in Bray Wyatt, in Aleister Black. Why are you allowing your rivals to take viewers off you? Because like me and you are going, me and you are fucking gluttons for punishment, I think, mate. But me and you are always going to watch WWE because I still love it, even though it's shit at the minute and has been shit for a while. I still watch it because I still enjoy bits of it, and I enjoy bits of AEW. I just prefer. Yeah. I'm more invested in WWE because it's something that I've watched since I was a kid. But I'm now watching AEW again because it's like, well, Aleister Black is now on there. I already like Cody Rhodes. I already idolize Jericho. I already love Mox, But then it's like, now it's like, well, there's rumours CM Punk signed. There's rumours Daniel Bryan signed. Is Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman going to go there? There's even rumours about Brock Lesnar. All these people, if they get 1, 2, 3, or all of them, doesn't matter. Each time they sign another Aleister Black, if they now get Bray, and then they get Braun, and then they get Punk, and then they get Bryan, then they get Brock. If that happens, how many people are going to just stop watching WWE completely because all of their favourites are now on AEW? That's what I don't get. What WWE have done, it doesn't make business sense.
Competition does bring up the best. I mean, the Attitude Era started because of WCW, because they were getting slaughtered by WCW. So competition's good for both sides. But like I said, I think AEW just needs to tread a little bit carefully, because if they keep doing, like you said, they keep doing these surprises, when they do the next one, it's not going to be as big. And then you also got to think, right? So they have CM Punk, they have Aleister Black, they have Rusev or Miro, and they have Dan Bryan, and then if they have Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, where do the other guys sit in that? Where does the Young Bucks
like a Darby Allin? Darby Allin's great. He's a fantastic young wrestler, has a lot of potential. Yeah. What happens to him?
Exactly. What's going to happen is what I think what's happened with Adam Page. Now, a lot of people said, loads of people were really upset that he didn't win and that he's not going to actually be a part of All Out at all. I mean, there was big rumours that they were going to push him. He was going to be in the title match. He was going to lose. He was going to get the title off of Kenny, and then I don't know what happened. The momentum stopped. Now, a lot of people said that's because they've got Daniel Bryan coming in and CM Punk. And my theory is you'll have Page, who is really good wrestler, lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And then he becomes, and because they're not pushing him, he becomes less irrelevant. Because people are like, oh,
great point.
Page is on there. And then they're like, but CM Punk's there. I'm watching CM Punk. I don't care what Adam Page is doing. The CM Punk's there.
Yeah, look, I agree with you completely, because look at Pac. Neville, when WWE got rid of Neville, everyone was like, Neville was amazing. He could do things that.
Well, they didn't get rid of him. He was one of those ones where we went, I'm not doing that, and they went, well, we pay you. He goes, well, I'm fucking doing it. I'm going off, and he fucked off, didn't he? And WWE said, okay, well, obviously you're still contracted. So this is what happened, right? So Punk, they said to him, Neville, you've got to go out and do this. And he said, I ain't doing that. And he goes, well, you are. He goes, well, I'm not. And he went home, didn't he?
Yeah.
Instead of firing him, they left his contract open. They went, okay, just go home then. And he couldn't do anything for 2 years. He couldn't do nothing because he was still contracted. WWE paid him, but he just sat at home and done nothing. Now, he wanted to be a wrestler because that's what he said. He wanted to be out there. He wanted to wrestle. He wanted to do this. But he said he ain't going out there to look like a dick. He ain't going out there to look like a clown or to do any of this, which WWE were asking him to do. And instead of going, okay, he went, I'm going home. And WWE went, well, fine. We'll pay you. Well, you could just sit at home, though, for 2 years and not work at all. You'll get ring rust. You'll get frustrated, which he did. He got, and when he come back out, when his contract was up and he did sign again, he was so bitter, so horrid to what WWE had done. And obviously he went to AEW and he went round the world and stuff like that. But I mean, he will never go back to WWE, but obviously what happened. But I think there's blame on both sides there, but it is what it is. But like you said, he's I think he's another one that's got potential in AEW, but he's going to get lost in the shuffle.
Mate, he already has. That's the point that I was trying to make. Have AEW put, like, when he left, the amount of pit of fans that I remember the uproar going, Neville was so good and they didn't use him.
Yeah.
AEW don't use him now. So, like, and this is before Bryan and Punk and Bray and Aleister Black and, you know, whoever else. Like, he's already not been being used. It's like Miro or Rusev, he is the champ. He's one of the champions, the TNT champion or whatever it's called. But well, he wasn't on the previous 4 shows at all.
No, it was the first time this week he defended the title.
But he'd missed 5 weeks. Why?
Yeah, exactly, because the problem, like. They did 100. There was a post that went up. I think it was on the dirt sheet, and it said there was 100. It was their 100th episode of AEW Dark, which is on YouTube, right? And one of the women on the show put a poster up of the 60 or 50 odd women that has appeared on AEW Dark, and I was thinking, yeah, but not one of them has appeared on. I was like, that's really good. I writ under it, but that's really good. But not one of them has appeared on Dynamite, a show everyone watches. Who watches AEW Dark? I don't. Yet they've had like 50 odd women on there wrestle, but not one of them on Dynamite. Why? Because they're limited with how much time they've got. They're limited with a 2-hour time slot. They're going to have Rampage, but I still think they've got more talent than they've got time to air. And that's what Eric Bischoff was saying as well. They've got a limit to how many people they can have on screen at each time. And they're not going to turn around and go, well, we've just paid £1 million for Daniel Bryan, but we're paying 500,000 for Adam Page. Well, we'll have Daniel Bryan because we paid more money for him. He's making us more money. And they're just going to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people, I'm getting sick of it, you know, AEW get everything right and WWE get everything wrong. It's just not. It's just bollocks. Like
someone said it won't be like when they've done the releases in WWE. Someone did put it will not be long before AEW is doing the same because they've got so much talent and a lot of money tied up.
Kev, I don't think AEW is that good. I really don't.
Like I said,
don't.
Like I said, the both shows offer something different, but effectively they're both the same. You know what I mean? There's no difference.
They're allowed more creative. The wrestlers are allowed more freedom and creative control. And that is the biggest thing that WWE don't have is they suffocate their talent and they don't allow them to be themselves and be creative. And that is what AEW has that WWE doesn't. But everything else, they're miles behind WWE. The camera work is dog shit. The production value of it just feels amateur. And they're going for the indie, edgy, attitude era feel, right? But it doesn't have that. NXT does a really good job of having more of an indie feel to the show than what Raw or SmackDown does. AEW to me just feels amateur.
The problem with AEW is it was evident this week when the 2 tag teams come out. I can't remember their name because I don't watch AEW like I do with WWE. And they were doing the rap and they mocked They mocked two people: the woman in the Olympics that left because of mental health issues.
Simone Biles, yeah.
Yeah, and then they also mocked some rape charge as well from someone.
Yeah.
And everyone, and Tony Khan was like, "This is pre-recorded, so someone obviously authorized this." And he got, I mean, it's been taken out now, but he got absolutely battered by this, and he even turned around afterwards and went, "From now on, I'm overseeing production on AEW Dark." And everyone's like, "Don't you already?" He goes, "Well, why they're filming AEW Dark? I'm backstage doing promo work for Dynamite, so I don't have the time." But he said, "From now on, I'm doing it because of that incident." And someone put a really good point. This is what happens when you give people creative freedom. There's a reason why WWE doesn't. And also, there's going to be a time where they're going to do something like this, and it's going to be live on Dynamite, and they're going to get stick from TNT, from the network.
Yeah.
And this is why it goes back to the reason why that they are given some. They should be given some sort of freedom, but not enough. Because when they give them so much freedom, you get things like this. And it's like, you need to rein it back a little bit, give them what they want, but don't do WWE and just go, well, you're reading that script, but say, look, let me see what you're going to go say before you say it, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Tell me what you're saying before you go out and say it, and I'll say if it's all right or not. See, the problem is they're going, well, you have creative freedom. Go out there with a mic and say what you want. Well, that's what happens when you say that. You know what I mean? This is what happened.
It is what happens. It is what happens. Man, I've got one more point before we wrap up. I just want to read out this comment from Mick, because Mick has said, WCW almost outrun WWE in the day. Eric Bischoff knows the business. AEW or WWE should hire him, in my opinion, not on the screen. Look, I get what you're saying, Mick. I know that you're a Bischoff fan. I'm a Bischoff fan, but a couple of years ago, WWE did hire him, and he lasted 4 weeks, and he chose to leave because he couldn't do it anymore. He openly admitted, I can't do this anymore. There's just too much.
Well, he's openly admitted that he doesn't watch wrestling anymore.
No, he's openly admitted he doesn't have the passion for it anymore. Because
he doesn't have a passion for it anymore. He doesn't. He just doesn't want to do it anymore. He said he doesn't watch wrestling like he used to. He's walked away from it.
Yeah,
and
he did 4 weeks on SmackDown, and he said, "I'm really sorry, I can't do this. I just can't do it. I've not got the mental capacity to cope with all of this." So I just want to make one AEW comment, right? Because I want your opinion on it quickly, because I know we're bloody an hour and a half.
But go on.
So AEW, right? And again, AEW get everything right, do they? Because in my opinion, they was doing everything great, right? Do you know, with the MJF and Chris Jericho build, with the 5 matches of trials, great. You started off with Sean Spears, so you start off small, You start off with someone who's a little bit less of a star, right? Great. Then it's announced that his next match is against Nick Gage, so it's like, oh, this fucking psychopath. It's interesting. It's a step up. Then it's like, the third one is Jericho's longtime rival in
WCW.
Guerrero, so you're like, oh my god, it's Jericho versus Juventud Guerrero, one of Jericho's biggest rivals. Great. What's number 4 going to be? Oh, it's Wardlow.
Wardlow,
I'm not being funny. AEW get everything right, apparently. Well, in my opinion, that isn't getting it right. You don't go from Gage to Guerrero to Wardlow. Where's the build? You've gone Spears, Gage, Guerrero, Wardlow. That's what you've done with that. Because what that? Like,
and not only that, they've upped the stipulations. So he said Nick Gage was like a death match. Then he said the Guerrero match was, he could only win if he'd done a move, a move from the top rope. And this one with Wardlow, it's just Wardlow. Normal match with MJF at ringside. That's it. And it's like, you've got up. Oh, you're going up. Oh, you got down. Oh, what happened there?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the wrestling that you see in the ring, and this is my opinion, and I already know that you agree with me on this. The actual wrestling is not better than WWE. It's the same. They both have world-class wrestlers who are capable of a lot more. I think that that what makes AEW more enjoyable to watch from a wrestling standpoint, purely wrestling, is they're allowed more creativity, so it flows better. You can feel it more. They're feeling it more. That's more enjoyable to watch. But where's the storylines? Because people go, I've stopped watching the WWE because they don't tell storylines anymore. Okay, so take out the Jericho and MJF storyline. What actual storylines do they have? Yes, Omega and Adam Page. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. People are going, oh, Aleister Black and Cody was a great storyline. What was it?
No, that match was what, 2 minutes long? Yeah, but that match was what, less than 5 minutes long.
But forget that it was a squash match, right? Forget that. You had Black come out on his debut, kick Arn Anderson, and then obviously Black Mass, Cody Rhodes as well. Yeah. Then the week after they had a bit of a cut punches and it got split up, and then the week after they had another couple of punches backstage and then it got split up again, and then they had a 2-minute match. That's a story, is it? Because that to me isn't the story.
Yeah.
Like AEW get as much wrong as WWE. Honestly, Kev, I nearly can't watch it already after watching it for 5 or 6 weeks. I can't watch it anymore. I cannot stand. Is that cameraman pissed? Answer the question. Is he pissed?
I think so. Before the match,
before
they start,
he's got the camera on the action in the ring. Now, because it's all fucking tag team, there's always something happening outside of the ring as well. So someone goes like that to do a move, the camera switches to outside.
Right, I'm running out of
Hey?
I'm running out of juice on my phone. So we'll have to wrap it up.
We'll have to wrap it
we'll have to wrap it up, mate.
We'll finish it off on the next show.
On the next show, yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, we're going to leave it there, and then we'll discuss all this next time because there's gone for ages. But yeah. But anyway, I'm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm been Kev.
I've been Dan. See you in the next one, guys.
Yeah. Cheers for watching.